All right, so Supra's clean, but what is going on here? And I don't even know if you can see it. Look at these, like somebody murdered. I mean, it's aftermarket, so it doesn't really matter, but somebody hath murdered the front of my car, and it's all here. So I don't know what from, but I gotta get my stock bumper anyway. That's pretty annoying. Look, cars. It's my Z06. Looking good. What's up, everybody? Rob Ferretti, and you may remember from the clip I just played before this that my Supra was looking a little rough in the front. Well, over here at Jay's Garage, they handled that business for me. Look how sexy this thing looks now. I just asked them, like, hey, could you just buff out the front because it had those scratches on it. And look at that, looking proper. Now, this doesn't really bother me, even no matter what the scratches were. This part and this part, the front bumper, they're both aftermarket, right? Because like they're both it's a modified car. These are both modified pieces, and when I sell it, these are staying with me to go on whatever my next car is, and it's irrelevant. So, but at least I made it look nice, and now they made the whole car look nice, and they buffed the entire car. So that's going to do away with. It may even prevent me from having to get a paint correction. But look how shiny. You can see where I've got a scratch on this car somewhere. I've got two scratches on this car. I've got one down here, and I've pointed these out before. This is from when Roger had it under a car cover in his driveway and his nephew fell on it with his bicycle pedal. And then I've got a scratch right here. So those are the two scratches. Now, I'd rather not have the paint work and leave those scratches. This thing is just so sexy. I love this car. I'm super excited to have another one. Like, it's weird. It's like saying, like, I can't wait for my next girlfriend. Like, while you're with your current girlfriend. Doesn't make any sense. But with this car, I'm honest. It's too good for me. Or just not the right one for me because of the mileage. And these things are fetching big money. And why are they fetching big money? Because it's sort of all over the place, right? There's people paying big money for Supras that don't really have that Supraness. And people are just getting caught up in like, well, I can't believe one sold for that much. And this one, obviously, I told you I had a deal that was pending on it. That didn't come through, so I'm going to end up auctioning it. But this car, like, you have to realize what makes Supras expensive. If it's got over 40,000 miles, no longer is it a low-mile car. Like 40,000 miles is what I've seen has been like the cutoff. 39 sells for decent money. It's the ones sub 20, sub 10 are really hard to come by. There's a company, Brooklyn Auto Sales, that's scooping up everything they could find. Now, with exotics, right? You've seen videos, I've talked about rollbacks. I think it's becoming more and more common with the Supras that people are fudging the mileage because there's so much in the way of collectability now that people are like, oh shit. And you really have to look into the history of it, and you have to look into like, okay, this car saw 6,000 miles a year, and then he did the service, and then after that the guy didn't drive it 6,000 miles a year anymore. He just somehow knew it was going to be a collectible, so he went up to 70,000 miles and then did 50 miles a year the next 5 years. Stuff like that's not going to make a lot of sense. And it's fairly easy to roll back this car because it's got like a digital odometer. So you send it out, you get it rolled back. Why would people do that? Oh my God, because there's money involved, and that's what people do. Luckily with me, you can see my car was either broken in pieces or parked in my garage for 10 years. So I've got the history documented, and I just never drove it. If I drove it, it was on video, really. It's been my collector's piece because I didn't know it was going to be worth this much. But I did know that, like, I didn't want to be the guy. I had this weird mental block that I didn't want to take it over 20,000 miles. And there's other things that dictate a car's value. With a Supra, and let me say this plain and simple, if it wasn't a factory twin turbo, worthless. If it wasn't a factory 6-speed, more equally almost as worthless. Like, the automatics carry a much lower value than a manual. If you see a 2,000 mile automatic. People don't really care about that. I don't know why. I don't get it, why people think that that's a collectible car. The whole reason these cars are collectible is because of the capabilities of the 6-speed manual turbo platform. It's this car. And then in 98, there were some changes. So you have the headlights, you got the steering wheel, there's other changes. The 98s are the lowest production volume in the US, has the highest value. So I've got the black 98 6-speed with low miles is like a freaking unicorn. There's just not a lot of them out there. Now, you see all these cars trading now. Oh, stock this, stock that. These cars weren't kept stock. That's not the whole point of these cars, is that they were modifiable, and that's what made them attractive to people. So there's people that say like, well, if it's modified, I don't want it. That doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. It's like a GTR, like an R34 GTR with mods. I'm all over it. And like even with the new cars, oh yeah, you're looking at the new Supra, but wait till it's modded. I mean, the whole point of the Supra platform is to modify it. So I don't think that should really detract from the value so much, but I'm okay with that. So if somebody wants me to strip off the, just say $25,000, $30,000 in go fast goodies I have on it, happy to do it. I'll throw it on another car. I'll give you a stock car, all yours, like I arranged with the other guy. That deal just fell through, but he bought another car allegedly. But if that's the case, I'm happy to take these parts off, put them on another car, then I get, because this is the car that I want, it's just not the car that I deserve. Like, I just don't, I'm the wrong guy to have a 19,000 mile car. I mean, look at my other cars. This thing over here, it just got a paint job after 15 or 18 years of use and abuse. But I mean, this is more my speed right here. So let me tell you other stuff that keeps these things looking good. It's the VIN tag. So there's VIN tags on these cars, and I have the factory hood and I have the factory bumper, and the VIN tags are what make it valuable. Now I'll show you the VIN tags. There's, I believe 11 of them, and you have them. There's one of them. See, this is a VIN tag. You have them, and I'd have to actually go through. Maybe I'll do a whole video where I find all my VIN tags. But there's one in the trunk here. There's on the fenders. And it's questionable as to what their purpose was because they came on the U.S. cars. They didn't come on the international cars. Some of them are actually stamped into the firewall. I know there's one in the, come on, let me see if I can do this without, somebody pulled that a little too far. Watch Rob scratch his car. Let's do this. Failure. Whew. Don't want to screw that one up. Okay. I mean, I don't even know if that's a VIN tag, but in the back of the firewall right there, I mean, again, we're going to have to go through all this. You see the VIN tag right there? Trying to zoom. Right there. Right over there. And then there's one on the crash bar in the front. The bumper, and let me go show you the bumper. I'll leave this car here for now, but I'll go show you the bumper. I was always under the impression that there was a VIN tag on it, and this I just went on my little wild goose chase looking for it, and it turns out the bumper doesn't even have a VIN tag on it, but it does have markings showing it's a 98. Hold on one second. So this is my factory bumper, and it's nice. No Bondo, no repairs. I mean, this is a good, clean bumper. And it's got these numbers. It's got these. It's got that. I forget what he was showing me, the designation. 6, 7, 8. So that shows you that the 98 bumper is preferable. That's why my buddy asked for it, because it looks cooler than the other bumpers. But ultimately, I've got that and the hood. And the VIN tags are now used as an informal way to see if there was damage on the cars, because you can't buy those VIN tags. If you peel one off and try to like tape it back on or something, it'll be noticeable. But I've got everything this car needs to prove that it wasn't in an accident, and unfortunately I didn't really drive it for the last decade and a half. But this car, I'm going to stitch it back together. I still want to do 1,000 horsepower on it. I'm just like, part of me wants to make the content, make 1,000 wheel horsepower just to be like, it's a 1,000 horsepower car. But then I'm going to have to strip it down if somebody wants it stock. I really just want to sell it as is and let somebody else deal with that, and I'll buy another one that's already modded. But who knows where the Super Saga is going to go. But we will find out soon enough. But the idea behind the VIN tags and the 11 VIN tags, obviously I'll put a link in the description so you can look at them, is that it's proving that the car wasn't in an accident. And mine, luckily, wasn't. It's like a unicorn car. It's a low mile, late year. And I'm expecting some good money when it does go to auction. So we'll see what happens. I've got enough stuff going on. You'll see in tomorrow's video about the NSX that became a project now. But until then, oh, wait, before I go, check this out. 2 days ago, I said we needed new tires on the AMG. Ba-boom! Nice new Michelin tires. Look at that meat. Rock cigarettes, picking up everything. But the stickers are still on them. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. That's all I got for today. If you have any thoughts, comments, that think Supras are overrated, overpriced, the Supras, it should be worth money. Manual, late model, or factory turbo cars are the three things that make Supras worth money. Everything else shouldn't really. The 6-speed swaps, like that stuff that I would buy to drive, but not necessarily a collector's item. Thank you for watching. See you tomorrow. For those of you not familiar with my other company, I started a company called Adventure Drives, which combines driving and bucket list travel. It's a lot of fun. Our next trip, we're off to Europe in July. If you're interested, prices can be done per person. Don't worry if you don't have somebody to go with you, we can match you up with somebody. You can check the link in the description for adventuredrives.com and sign up today.